What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another ASC YouTube video. And today we are doing one of my final mock drafts for the 2021 NFL draft, because the draft is less than 2 weeks away, believe it or not. It's exciting times, and for this one, I'm gonna be doing something a little more special. We're gonna be doing a 2-round edition of my mock drafts. So I hope you guys enjoy what I have in store for you today. I'll probably be doing one more final mock draft, and then I'll also be doing a mock draft with the highlighted crew on our podcast that we may upload, not too sure yet. But otherwise, be sure to like the video and subscribe here to All Sports Culture on YouTube. Follow us at All Sports Culture on Instagram. And since I'm going to be doing 64 picks, I'm going to be running through these very quickly. So hope you understand that. Let's just jump right into it. First overall, Trevor Lawrence going to the Jacksonville Jaguars, best quarterback prospect I've ever seen. Jets at number 2. My opinion, I would take Justin Fields here. I think he's the second best quarterback in the class. I think he's a top 5 player in the class. I absolutely love Justin Fields, but all signs are pointing to it being Zach Wilson. So I am going to give them Zach Wilson here. And that leaves us with the San Francisco 49ers at 3. I think the 49ers have had their eyes on Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields would be amazing in this scheme. With this coaching staff and with these weapons, I'm going Justin Fields every day of the week, and I think the 49ers probably will end up doing the same. 4th overall, we have the Atlanta Falcons. I want to pick Trey Lance here, like I do. I think he'd be great for Atlanta. It's just a matter of, let's be a little different. I'm going to give them Kyle Pitts. I absolutely love Kyle Pitts for this team. I think he is both your Julio Jones replacement and your starting tight end in one pick, because he can play wide receiver, in line, in the slot, wherever you want to line up Kyle Pitts, he can go. And I think in this Atlanta offense with Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, that'd be so much fun. Cincinnati Bengals at number 5. I'm not going to take Penei Sewell here. I think Penei Sewell is the pick that they should make. But I'm going to go a little different here, and I think the Bengals are going to take Jamar Chase in the draft. I think they're going to. I think Joe Burrow is going to lobby for this guy. Jamar Chase is needed there because they just lost A.J. Green. That's a lot of targets that are leaving that offense. And even though Auden Tate is pretty nice as a player, he's not Jamar Chase. So let's do something different here and give them Jamar Chase. Now we have the Miami Dolphins at 6. If I were the Dolphins here, I would go either Jalen Waddle or Penei Sewell. I'm gonna be different today. I'm gonna give them Jalen Waddle. Refined route runner, explosive off the ball. He can beat any type of coverage you throw at him. Love Jalen Waddle. And that leaves with Detroit. And Detroit is in a situation where they pick best player available no matter what. That is how I view Detroit right now. I think they should be a trade down team. But Penei Sewell is sitting right there staring at you, and he is a day 1 replacement for Hal Vaitai. And yeah, that's easy pick right there. And there's a lot of talk that Penei Sewell could fall in the draft. I could see it. I definitely could. I could see some teams liking Slater more than him, and I'd understand it. Because you're going to be getting a more refined prospect out the gate with Rashawn Slater, who I'm ultimately going to go with for the Carolina Panthers at 8. Penei Sewell has so much athletic upside, and he was so dominant at Oregon that you get him in this coaching staff, you could develop him into a monster. And if you want to start him on the inside with Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, oh my God, that interior might be the best interior offensive line in football. I'm not kidding. That would be ridiculous. Get him to learn his hands a little bit better, which guards are going to need to do. And then once you feel more comfortable with him, you can kick him out to tackle. I'd love that. I think that'd be a great pick for the Lions if they decide to stay at 7, although I don't think he'll probably be there. And then for the Panthers, you trade for Sam Darnold. So you're trying to set him up the best to succeed that he can. And this offensive line is piss poor right now. It's not piss poor, but it's not very good. You've got Taylor Moton, you've got Matt Paradis, you sign Pat Elflein. it's just a lot of guys. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Greg Little. Rashawn Slater, day one, would be instant starter. Denver Broncos at 9. I mean, Trey Lance is staring me right in the face, and I'm not a big believer in Drew Lock. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go Trey Lance here. I have the Broncos trade up for Trey Lance a lot in these mock drafts, but he's sitting right there, so I'm gonna do it. Dallas Cowboys at number 10. They're gonna pick the best corner in the draft, in my opinion. It's gonna be Patrick Surtain from Alabama. Plays exactly what they want in that scheme. Let's just move straight on to the New York Giants at number 11. The Giants are a definite Rashawn Slater team, but there's a guy here that I think would fit their defense excellently. And I've given them Jalen Phillips before. I would love Jalen Phillips as a selection here, but I'm going to be a little different here. I think they need an aggressive off-ball linebacker, someone you can blitz off the edge, fill holes in the run game. That is Micah Parsons through and through, because they've got Blake Martinez, who's played really well for them last year, but he's not an aggressive style linebacker. That is Micah Parsons. And that leaves the Eagles here at number 12. And honestly, I always give them this pick, and I feel really bad that I always do, but I'm going to give him Devontae Smith again. His value is too good to pass on here. Even though I would love JOK in this defense, and I think he'd be a natural fit. They took Davion Taylor last year, and he's kind of a similar mold to what Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is. Get yourself an alpha wide receiver in Devontae Smith to work with Jalen Hurts and Jalen Reagor. Onto the LA Chargers. Now for the Chargers, there's really just two positions that they should be considering here, and that's offensive line or cornerback. And the offensive lineman available, I'm not huge on taking at 13. I'm not as high on Darrisaw as everyone else. I view him as like a, mid to late first round pick, who I do love as a top 16 pick. And he's someone that they would love right out the gate, because Brandon Staley, even though he primarily plays zone, he loves to throw a ton of different coverages in there. And a guy like Greg Newsome is the prototypical mold for a corner that they would want in this scheme. He thrives in zone. Man, he's not afraid to get up in your face. He's super physical in the run game. I mean, this guy just all around is a fantastic corner. There's just little injury concerns with him, and I honestly am not too worried about them. I love Greg Newsome. He's exactly the style of corner that this defense loves. And I think J.C. Horn would also be a great selection there. I just like J.C. Horn in a very press-heavy scheme as compared to Greg Newsome, who can play in a ton of different coverages. And I'm not saying J.C. Horn can't do that. I also just prefer Greg Newsome. But let's move on to the Vikings at 14. And Jalen Phillips is staring me right in the face right now, and I'm going to give him to him. I mean, him next to Danielle Hunter with Dalvin Tomlinson and Michael Pierce on the interior. Holy shit. That would be a mean front four. Like, that would be absolutely mean. And I think that pick would just be absolutely threatening to the rest of the NFC North. I know they've got guys that they like, but Jalen Phillips is a top 10 player for me, and I wouldn't feel right letting him fall even further. Now we're on to the New England Patriots at pick 15. Mac Jones is here. Wouldn't hate that selection. It'd be pretty rich, but the guy I'm looking at here is, I referred to him earlier, not too long ago. New England loves running man coverage, where their corners just get up in your face. And let's be real here. Long term, they are not set at corner. Stephon Gilmore is a free agent after this year, and he's getting old, and they have yet to pay him yet, and they've been shopping him on the trade market. J.C. Jackson just signed his tender, doesn't have a long-term deal. Imagine J.C. Horn with J.C. Jackson as a long-term corner tandem. That would be absolutely fantastic. I love Horn's fit in this defense. Let's make it happen. On to the Arizona Cardinals at pick 16. They have absolutely no one at corner. Absolutely no one. Like, literally nobody. I don't like Byron Murphy as an outside guy. I think he's best suited as a nickel. Caleb Farley would be absolutely fantastic here, and I'm just going to make that selection. Caleb Farley is my CB2 if it weren't for his injury concerns, a PBU monster. And he's still got so much room to grow because he's a converted wide receiver. He's an uber athlete. I mean, Caleb Farley would be a fantastic pick for the Cardinals. And now we have the Raiders. And there's one guy that the Raiders, this guy just screams Raider to me. Tevin Jenkins is literally what the Raiders look for in their tackles, but they are just guys that want to put you in the dirt. I think you can line them up immediately at right tackle to replace Trent Brown. You just extend in Colton Miller. Tevin Jenkins would be awesome for the Raiders, even though I think they've done a rough job with their offensive line this offseason. We now have the Miami Dolphins at pick 18. And I'm just saying, I mean, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is sitting right there. And I mean, yeah, we're going to go with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Get themselves a nice overhang will linebacker, can play in the slot. Just another versatile linebacker for Brian Flores to have fun with. And I mean, Waddle and Koramoah, that's 2 top 10 players for me, and they're getting them at 18 and 6. That would be awesome. And we have the Washington football team on the clock, and I mean, have Fitzmagic under center this season, but holy crap, you really, really need a quarterback long term. And they just love this Alabama pipeline. So Mac Jones, he's going to be the pick. And the Bears are really mad that he just went at 19 because they were hoping he'd be there at 20. And since I'm not doing trades in this mock, obviously he didn't go. But they have a very good consolation prize because they need tackle. They need a tackle badly. And I think Elijah Vera Tucker can play tackle. I like Vera Tucker way too much not to select him here. A lot of people view him as a guard. I think if you play him at guard, he'd be perfectly fine there. But at tackle, I know he's got shorter arms, but I mean, I don't really mind that too much. He can play. He held his own at left tackle last year very well. And now we have the Colts on the clock. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think the Colts are going to pick Liam Eichenberg because he just seems like a Colts pick. But Eichenberg, I really like Eichenberg personally. But Christian Darrisaw is here. I mean, talk about just a perfect fit for what the Colts like. And I mean, Christian Darrisaw, plug and play. I do think he needs to work on some things, but Colts are not not disappointed with that selection. Tennessee Titans are now on the clock at 22, and I mean, top 15 players on my board. He's there. It's Rashad Bateman. I mean, you lose Corey Davis, but you replace him with a seamless, probably an upgrade out the gate in Rashad Bateman. I'd absolutely love that pick. And I also love this next pick for the New York Jets. I mean, Kwity Paye is sitting right there. And he is exactly what Robert Saleh would love in this defense. Just get yourself another edge rusher, put across from Carl Lawson, and then that interior defensive line with Sheldon Rankins, Quinton Williams, and Jonathan Franklin Myers. Holy crap, that's going to be probably one of the best fronts in football. We now have the Steelers, and the Steelers, man, I mean, there are 2 guys here that I really like for the Steelers, and that is between Landon Dickerson and Liam Eichenberg. Landon Dickerson would be actually absurd for them, and I think he's a perfect fit. He's more of the fit than Creed Humphrey for them. You know what? I'm going to do it. I think Landon Dickerson, if he wasn't injured, he is close to a top 10 player in this class for me. But he's got these ACL tears, and he's ended up on IR 4 of the last 5 years, which is kind of insane. So you got to take that into account. But his tape is absolutely, it's hilarious. He's just so dominant. He's a talker. I mean, he would fit that Pittsburgh offensive line. In Jacksonville, you add to that defensive line. So I'm not going to take Barmore here, even though I would like Barmore there for them. I'm going to take a tackle because I think they need to invest into this offensive line for Trevor Lawrence. And I think Liam Eichenberg is a surefire pick. I don't think he'll ever be the best offensive tackle in the league. I think he will be a long-term starter, and he will make a couple of Pro Bowls throughout his career. And you just want stability at that position if you're getting Trevor Lawrence into the building. So I'm going to take him here. And now we have the Cleveland Browns on the clock at 26. What's weird is they just released Sheldon Richardson, and they don't seem to have anyone in-house to replace him. I really just don't like the Jadeveon Clowney signing. Like, I just don't like it. You know, Greg Rousseau is sitting here. I'm going to take Greg Rousseau for them. I think the value is really good, and I wouldn't pass on the value here. He's got such good tools to work with. And I mean, if you can breed him into just a good edge too. I mean, you've got Myles Garrett on the other side. This could be a truly dominant edge duo. And Jadeveon Clowney, he's got similar traits to Greg Rousseau, so maybe he can learn from him in that aspect. But now we've got the Baltimore Ravens on the clock. Jason Owe is a guy that I think they would really like. Azeez Ojulari as well. I think I will go with Trayvon Merrick out of TCU for the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, he's just a great deep middle field safety, but he can move all around the place, and I love him. And they play multiple of these guys anyways. And you know, Deshaun Elliott's good. I like Deshaun Elliott as well as Chuck Clark. And we're now on to the Saints. And I mean, guys, the Saints literally draft only trench players in the first round. That's all they do. And a lot of people aren't talking about how defensive line is a big need for them, because I kind of see it as it's a big need. I mean, they lost Sheldon Rankins and Malcolm Brown. All they have left is David Onyemata. They got Shy Tuttle. I mean, they're missing guys. And Christian Barmore is sitting right there. So I'm going to take Christian Barmore. The Packers are furious about that because they wanted Christian Barmore at pick 29, but they didn't get him. So as a Packers fan, what would be the pick here? Cosme or Humphrey would be good. I'd like either of those guys. Penei Sewell, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Sam Cosme here to be their long-term right tackle. They really need depth at tackle. I mean, they have David Bakhtiari, who's going to be injured at the start of the year, possibly. Then they have Billy Turner, who played really well last year as a tackle, but he is not their long-term answer. And then Elton Jenkins is essentially their third tackle. They've got no one else behind those guys, and they're going to need someone else to add to that room. Sam Cosme would be awesome at position. I think he'd be a great scheme fit as well. Packers love them some athletic tackles. I'd really enjoy this pick if I was a Packers fan, which I am. Now we have the Buffalo Bills, and I've been thinking about this for the Bills a lot, and I think a match zone corner that they would love is Asante Samuel Jr., and that's why I'm going to pick him for the Bills there, and he's just a perfect scheme fit for them. I think he could play outside for them. I definitely could. Now we have the Kansas City Chiefs, who essentially have to take tackle here. I really don't see any other avenue that they don't take a tackle. But let's be real here. I don't love the tackles here. I don't. I mean, Radunz, I would trade down for Radunz. What is a position that I could capitalize on here for the Chiefs? I'm gonna go with Terrace Marshall. Size and speed, man. That's what the Chiefs need at the receiver position. I mean, that's exactly what he'll give you. Now we have Tampa Bay Buccaneers, last pick of the first round. And honestly, I think this is a luxury pick for them. And I'm going to spend it as if it's a luxury pick. I'm taking Jason Owe, the edge from Penn State. They're going to play him behind Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaq Barrett. And he's going to develop behind those guys. And I think they can turn him into a really damn good player if they do just that. I think he's got everything you would want in a premier pass rusher. If you groom him right, oh my God, you could have a special player on your hands. Now we have the Jacksonville Jaguars again. And honestly, I'm pegging this guy to basically go in the top 3 picks of the second round because all of these teams would absolutely love his skill set. But that's Pat Freiermuth from Penn State. And I mean, he is exactly what these top 3 teams in the second round want in their tight ends. I mean, Jacksonville just needs one entirely. And they've hired the Penn State tight ends coach. Like, I wouldn't even be shocked if Pat Freiermuth was to pick at 25. I would put money on any team picking Pat Freiermuth. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars. get Trevor Lawrence another weapon. I really like what they have for him in place already. But Pat Freiermuth would be great for them, and he'd be great for the Jets. He'd be great for the Falcons, but the Falcons took Kyle Pitts, obviously. And now we have the New York Jets, who I'm thinking about corner here. Ifeatu Melifonwu would be the guy I'd be looking at for them, or Paulson Adebo. Both would be really good scheme fits, but might be a little rich for my blood. Creed Humphrey is a natural fit at center, though, and in this scheme, and I think protect Zach Wilson at all costs. Creed Humphrey will be the pick here at 34. Now we have the Atlanta Falcons, and Azeez Ojulari is right there. I think that's a style of edge rusher that Dean Pease likes, so I'm going to pick Azeez Ojulari here because he is a second-round talent, and he's sitting there, so I'm going to take him. And now we have the Miami Dolphins on the clock again. They went Jalen Waddle, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah in the first round. Two guys I'm looking at here. Najee Harris and probably Joseph Osai. But since we went with Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, they already added to that linebacker group. So I am going to give them a running back. And that's going to be Najee Harris, my favorite running back in the draft. He can do it all. Everything you ask him for, he can do it. And I love running backs like that. And that's obviously why he's the pick. And now we have Philadelphia on the clock, who need linebacker. And a guy at linebacker that I really like that's still here is Zaven Collins. And I'm going to take Zaven Collins. I mean, he's sitting right there. He'd be great in Philly. Now we have the Cincinnati Bengals, and now I am forcing myself to take offensive line because they need it badly. Wow. I don't love the interior guys here. Tackle, probably the best pick here would be Raduns, but I think Raduns can play all across the line. I like him more on the interior at the next level. So if you want to play him at center, you could definitely do that, or at guard. You know what? Yeah, I will take Dylan Raduns for the Cincinnati Bengals here. Just plug and play right away. Protect Joe Burrow. You have to. You just have to. Carolina Panthers. Wow. I never thought this team would actually be this difficult to draft for. Union corner. My highest rated corner available is Ifeatu Melifonwu. So I'm going to take Ifeatu Melifonwu here at 39. And we've got the Denver Broncos at pick 40. I want them to take Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah so badly at 9th overall, but they need a quarterback, and that's more important to me, so that's why I have them taking Trey Lance, even though I have Owusu-Koramoah higher than him. But they need a linebacker, and Vic Fangio just needs that linebacker, and my highest rated one available is Jamin Davis from Kentucky. I mean, uber athlete. He can do everything that they will want him to do right out the gate. That's why he's going to be the pick at 40. And now at 41, we have the Detroit Lions, who still don't have a wide receiver selected because they got Penei Sewell. Like, what? That's absurd. I'm taking Rondale Moore. Yeah, I'm going to take Rondale Moore. I think he can be just a playmaker all over the field. Detroit just needs guys like that, and especially if you're going to have Jared Goff at quarterback, you need a guy that you can just give the ball to. You put the ball in this receiver's hands, and he can make plays. That's exactly what Rondale Moore is, so that's why he's going to go to the Lions. And now we've got the Giants. Yeah, I might go edge. Ronnie Perkins is sitting right there. Yeah, I'm going to go with Ronnie Perkins for them. I mean, just an explosive edge rusher. He didn't test as well as I thought he was going to, but I still love me some Ronnie Perkins. Oklahoma didn't use him as well as they should have. Now we've got the 49ers on the clock, and they need a corner. Yeah, they just need corner. I would have loved Ifeatu Melifonwu for them. I don't really see Stokes as a fit in this defense, but Paulson Adebo is exactly what they like. And just a heavy zone corner. He's super smart and instinctual. Get him to San Francisco. I think that'd be a great pick for them. And now we've got Dallas, and I'm just going to do best defensive lineman on the board, and that's Levi Onwuzurike. Don't really need to explain that one that much. Jacksonville. I have gone offense heavy for the Jaguars, and I'm not going to stick to that. I think they should finally invest a pick on defense, and that's going to be At the safety position, they have absolutely no one at safety. And my favorite safety available is Javon Holland. And they are going to run a lot more nickel and dime. And Javon Holland is that guy. If you need a nickel or a dime, Javon Holland is your guy. Great pick for the Jaguars there. And we've got the New England Patriots on the clock at pick 46. Thinking receiver here. They've signed Nelson Aguilar. They signed Kendrick Bourne. So they've got their new slot to replace Edelman. If you're going to try and make life easy for Cam Newton, get him a guy that, because you don't want a Diami Brown in this offense then, because if you're trying to play within 15 to 20 yards, Diami Brown is like a true deep threat. But if you're trying to play close, get the ball out, let your playmakers be playmakers after the catch, Kadarius Toney is exactly what they're going to want, and that's going to be the pick. Chargers. You went with Greg Newsome in the first. You're going to need an offensive lineman now. Like, I'm not letting you get past this pick without selecting an offensive lineman. Brady Christensen would be awesome in this scheme. He's a little bit older of a prospect. I like him as a pure left tackle. I'm going to make that selection. I think he'd be a beast, and he's going to be a day one starter for Justin Herbert. And now we have the Raiders. Man, I don't know what to do for the Raiders. They need so much. Cam McGrone would be a fantastic pick, though. I really like Cam McGrone here for them. I'm going to go with Cameron McGrone. I think he's a true Mike linebacker, 3-down role. I don't know if he'd be a Gruden guy, but he's being held down because of injuries. He'd be quite easily a top 50 player if it wasn't for injuries for me. Love me some Cam McGrone. Now we've got the Cardinals at pick 49. Could use offensive line. Who's available at offensive line? Quinn Miners and Trey Smith. Those would be really good. Javonte Williams in this offense would be awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna give him Javonte Williams. And I know they just let Kenyon Drake go. You got to add another explosive playmaker for Kyler Murray, because this offense is at its best when Kyler Murray is running the football. You can't rely on him being the runner every single time, because one play, he's going to get hurt. You got to have a true nice running back there with him. Javonte Williams, my second best running back in the class. Peg him in here for the Cardinals. Now we have the Dolphins, who selected Najee at 36, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go with Quinn Miners. Play him on the interior immediately. You can give him time to develop. He's got rare athletic traits for an interior offensive lineman. And we've got the Washington football team, who took Mac Jones in the first round. And let's see here. Who at receivers available? So you've got Terry McLaurin as your intermediate guy, who could play basically all over. You got Curtis Samuel as your gadget guy, who could play up close to the line. You need a deep threat. And that deep threat is Diami Brown. He would be awesome for the... Oh, well, I mean, I accidentally just clicked Nico Collins for the Bears. But honestly, Nico Collins would be awesome for the Bears. Like, he's exactly what they would need to replace a Allen Robinson. I'm down for that. So Nico Collins, honestly, I really like that as a pick. I would. I'm not even complaining about what just happened there. That's awesome. I don't know how that ended up just happening, but it did. I honestly probably would end up picking Nico Collins for the Bears. Maybe Eric Stokes, but no, I really like that, how my double click worked out for that. But no, back to the Washington football team. Diami Brown would be the deep threat in this offense. You need that still. You would have a fantastic 3 wide receiver set, and him with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I already talked about Nico Collins, about how he'd be a great A-Rob replacement. I love Nico Collins, guys. I feel like I underrated him on my board a bit because he opted out. And now we have the Tennessee Titans. You have to go corner here, right? Like, corner or tackle. Like, I don't think you can go any other position. And at corner, Eric Stokes probably... Yeah, Eric Stokes is the smart selection here. So I'm going to take Eric Stokes for the Tennessee Titans. Now we have the Indianapolis Colts. Elijah Moore, he'd be really good here. Is there a corner? Kelvin Joseph, I think they could coach up really well. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kelvin Joseph here for the Colts. Yeah, they need another outside corner. You know, Xavier Rhodes is just a stopgap. They already got Kenny Moore locked up on the inside. Let's give them a guy that could blossom into something special. There are a little bit of concerns about his character and his raw ability, but I think the Colts will be just fine grooming him. Now we have the Steelers, who went Landon Dickerson in the first round. Travis Etienne is right there. I can't not pick Travis Etienne here. They need a dynamic running back for Ben Roethlisberger. They've been missing it since Le'Veon Bell. I know James Conner had that one unreal year, but Travis Etienne would be amazing for them. I can't believe I let him get to the 55. It's kind of similar to how J.K. Dobbins fell last year. Now we have the Seattle Seahawks at pick 56. Let's see here. Offensive line. That's where I'm looking here. Offensive line. Oh, Jalen Mayfield. That would actually be pretty good. Yeah, let's go with Jalen Mayfield, because he can play guard or tackle. I like him more as a guard in the NFL. Seattle would really like him. And I want on the Rams. They lost Troy Hill and John Johnson III this offseason, so they're going to need a guy to replace them. And so I'm looking at slot corners that can play a star role. And those guys are Elijah Molden and Aaron Robinson. Now it's a matter of who do you prefer for this team. I like Elijah Molden more in this role that they desire, and I'm going to take him. He would be awesome for them. I mean, they obviously have invested at safety from Washington before with Taylor Rapp. So let's make it happen again with Elijah Molden, even though I think he'll be a slot, but he could play that star role very nicely, which that is very important in the Rams defense. Now we have the Baltimore Ravens on the clock, and I have to go edge rusher here or interior offensive line. Osai or Basham? That's Osai. Yeah, Osai is more of the fit for what the Ravens like. So I'm going to go with Joseph Osai there. I think they're going to double dip at edge rusher in the first 2 days. I think they will. Now we've got the Cleveland Browns on the clock, and I'm just saying it right out the gate. Defensive line. I was close to picking Barmore, but I gave them Rousseau at 27. And now they are about to get another defensive lineman. I love Osa Odigizua. I think he'd be great for them. So I'm going to take Osa as a 3 technique in that defense to replace Sheldon Richardson. They need someone with pass rush, and that's what Osa is. I know they've signed guys to shorter-term deals, but they need someone long-term. They do. And we've got New Orleans on the clock, and is there a corner here I like? Aaron Robinson? Nah, they've got Chauncey, so he's their nickel, so they don't really need Aaron Robinson. How about wide receiver? Oh, Elijah Moore or Tylan Wallace. Ooh. I am going to go with, who would they like more? Definitely Elijah Moore. If you're trying to make it easy on Taysom Hill, let's go with Elijah Moore. Bills, you go with Asante Samuel in the first round, and now you need an edge rusher. And I saw him earlier, Boogie Basham, right there for the taking. Easy selection. I love me some Carlos Basham. I mean, just a bigger-bodied edge rusher that can play 5-tech. He can stand up. Whatever you want, he can do it. Green Bay Packers. So you get Sam Cosmi in the first round. Now, let's look at corners here. Aaron Robinson would be really good for them. I think he could play that star role in that defense. What about receiver? Is there anyone at receiver? Tylan Wallace. Yeah, I'd really like Tylan Wallace here. But that's not the type of receiver I think they need. I think they need a fast, playmaker. Like Dwayne Eskridge would be exactly the mold of receiver that I think they want and that they need, but I wouldn't take him here. I think they'd have to trade down a little to get him. Amari Rodgers would be good here too. Tylan Wallace is sitting right there. I've talked ad nauseum about how much I like Tylan Wallace. Or do I want to go with Eskridge? I feel like they really like Eskridge. I'm just going to go with Tylan Wallace. I've talked about how much I like Tylan Wallace. So I'm just going to take him here. He's available. Let's just do it. Their defense has got no help. Whatever. Chiefs, I'm forcing you to take an offensive lineman. You have to. Who's the best offensive lineman available? Leatherwood or Jackson Carman? Who would they like more? Probably Leatherwood. I'm not big on Leatherwood, though. I view him similarly to Jackson Carman. You know what? No, let's go with Jackson Carman. Screw it. Let's give him Jackson Carman. Let's show some love to Jackson Carman, because he played through last year injured a bit. Let's show him some love. Let's show him some love. And now we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the end. I have already pegged this in my brain a couple picks ago, but it's Milton Williams. He is a perfect fit next to Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh as a 3-4 defensive end. I'd absolutely love that selection. But otherwise, what did you guys think of my 2-round mock draft for the 2021 NFL Draft? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about how your team did. Yeah, be sure to like the video and subscribe here to All Sports Culture on YouTube. That's going to be it. Thank you all for watching yet again, and I'll see you in the next one.